Oh, I don't.
I mean, I just need. All I know is I need to be home by like 4 o'clock.
Oh, well, this guy, dude. You know what? I can understand.
Because my son had his first haircut today, and he was very brave. And I asked him where he wanted to eat for dinner, and he said, "I want to go to McDonald's." So for dinner, I'm taking McDonald's.
You're going to treat your son to poison?
Bro, he wants to play in the play place and eat McNuggets. So I can get home. Well, I've already showered, so maybe 4:30.
Oh, yeah, you're ready to go, man.
So maybe 4:30.
All right, Chris, can you hand that mic to
Who?
Karl, please? Ta-da!
Hey. What's that? No.
All right, so we've got Karl. I've wanted to have Karl on for a while. We honestly should have Karl on for his own show.
Ago. Karl's
I do want to talk about like
our number one
tactical stuff. So I'm a guy. If I wanted to, so I'm obviously I'm into jiu-jitsu. I love jiu-jitsu. In terms of me being more proficient at self-defense, I believe I need to probably learn other skills that aren't just grappling. I need to maybe do firearms training or knife training. What would you recommend as like knowing me? What would be the first step for, hey, to drastically improve your ability to defend yourself in situations? I would recommend you first work on this. What would you do? Like, what would be your plan for me?
Wait. First, you should put yourself in those situations so you can see the mistakes you'll make.
No, I don't want to get shot because we're
I know what you were talking about.
No, I'm talking with Karl, tactical
Don't do
stuff.
that.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go up to a guy with an AK-47. Hey, what do we do?
trying to rape me, Victor.
So I would say two things you do real quick.
Okay.
Number one, you should go find a pistol.
Okay. What would you recommend?
Find a pistol, get a pistol. So you've got either two major ones, probably Glock 19 if you want a bigger gun. You could go Glock 43 if you want a smaller gun. There's a 43X, which is right in the middle.
And are they all firing the same type of rounds?
Yeah, you want to go 9mm.
They're all 9mm.
So, yeah, 9mm
Are they? Now I'm going to sound like a complete noob here. Are these firearms that you could fire underwater conceivably?
What are you going to be doing underwater?
I don't know. I mean, I've always heard as a kid. I always focused on like when people were in the Vietnam War and stuff. They had to go through like water and it would still operate. I'm not talking about firing underwater.
So it gets wet and
underwater.
It
Makes no sense. The bullet's not going to go far. I'm just saying if it gets wet.
Yeah.
Can you still fire it?
The Glock's the most reliable pistol out there. So yeah, you probably get it wet and I'm sure it'll work. There's videos on YouTube. Yeah.
Well, then you get a harpoon for that. I'll get my harpoon.
There's videos on YouTube of guys like shooting it in buckets, like big barrels, and
they don't come through, right?
Yeah, it still shoots. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, how far the round's gonna go, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I know.
Yeah, MythBusters is pretty good. Yeah.
They were like, you probably won't die.
Yeah, because the bullets don't travel. They did with a shotgun. I saw. So I actually misspoke. I was talking more about can this weapon get wet and still be fired. I'm not talking about can it be fired underwater.
Go team up with Aquaman.
I want to get.
So let's
take out some people.
So we're gonna split this up into two podcasts.
Okay, continue.
Yes, I would get a Glock, definitely. Then I would get what you go is you do go on Amazon. You buy some snap caps. So they're basically fake rounds.
Okay.
So that way you can practice at home. You don't really need them. You could probably just dry fire it on your own. And then I would sign up for the concealed carry class. They'll go over the basics of the firearm with you. They'll probably show you enough just to shoot and take your test, and I would get all your paperwork done for your concealed license right away.
Can you hook me up with that?
I wouldn't even like wait the couple of months, because the couple of months it takes to get that thing done, then you can spend those couple months shooting and kind of getting used to that. And then the other thing you should do too is because and this is right here and this is easy, is you walk over to this left side of the mat here. And this left side of the mat, Coach Paul teaches this awesome art called Muay Thai.
Yeah.
And you want to take
Just
you want to start taking some Muay Thai classes too. Just because if you need to make some distance, you might not want to actually grapple. You might want to actually, nice little throw punch, make a little room, draw, shoot, and things like that.
At least learn how to protect your head. Like that's the biggest.
Well,
thing,
that too.
right?
Yeah,
like,
protect yourself from a sucker punch.
If there's
and all that.
one takeaway from Muay Thai that I've learned. If there's one takeaway from doing Taekwondo that I've learned, if you can protect your head efficiently and effectively, that's probably over half the battle, right? Because that's enough for you to be able to defend yourself, and get the fuck away. So we're gonna split this into two. We've got Karl on finally.
Oh,
He's been like a cameo for a while.
Oh, I know. He's in our audience all the time.
We're gonna do a little 10-minute cameo or something. Nothing crazy.
Sorry to interrupt, but let it be known that alcohol cannot be used as an excuse to not do jiu-jitsu.
Because he's now grappling. How many of these have you consumed? 8? I don't know.
I think I'm like 5.
5.
Or
Okay.
6.
You're a big dude.
How
though.
does it work when like, I don't know. So is this so? Shout out to Eddie Bravo.
What?
He did start.
Eddie Bravo.
What is the whole? Let's see grappling under the.
Are we talking
influence.
about Reddy Bravo or Eddie Bravo?
No, actual Eddie Bravo.
Oh, Eddie Bravo. Okay.
Reddy Bravo is getting ready to ditch the gym, so like he's been doing some soul searching with me.
Okay.
I have a lot of. I'm trying to dissuade him, but he needs to follow his heart.
Well, that's a separate. I mean,
And if he wants to do catch wrestling,
we need Josh Barnett in the Orlando area.
yeah, exactly.
So-
So Karl, welcome to the gym again.
So
every day.
On this point on the self-defense thing. So how long would you say? So I want to make this statement. I think if you train 4 days a week at jiu-jitsu, or if you get a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, I think that's a good baseline for self-defense from grappling. I'm not saying it's great, but it's a good baseline.
Yeah.
If you get a blue belt in jiu-jitsu,
Yes.
you're already better than fucking 95%.
Yes,
of the
and
population.
I was
the
going to make the same thing.
population.
In between a year and 2 years of Muay Thai training at the rate. So if you train this, if it took you a year to get a blue belt, let's just say, and you trained at that same rate doing Muay Thai at 1 year, I feel like, would that be fair to say that's a good basic proficiency in stand up with Muay Thai to defend yourself? Or would you need more or less time to achieve that?
So as a black belt in jiu-jitsu, I would say a year and a half of proficiency in jiu-jitsu is pretty good.
Okay, and what's the equivalent in Muay Thai?
Muay Thai, I would say, because you're learning so mechanically, I think it takes a while for people to get to decondition the flinch reflex
Okay.
and to be able to maintain calm when people are throwing punches at you.
Okay. So how much time would you say?
To become like self-defense wise or fighting wise?
No, I'm doing the same thing. It's like, how long would it take to get a blue belt in Muay Thai? Yeah.
About a year and a half, 2 years.
Year and a half, 2 years. So same thing for firearm proficiency. What would you say?
Ooh, that's it's a little above my pay grade. But
Okay.
if you don't train properly, you probably never get there. If you train properly, you'll at least know how to shoot properly in maybe 6 months if you follow the right stuff.
I've heard, and I want your take on this, that a lot of being proficient at firearms is you have to constantly train for it to keep up. It's not like quote riding a bike where it's like once you have it, you can stop for a year and come back and be like, oh yeah, I'm good. It's like you need to constantly be not necessarily improving,
I
but
mean,
just
that's the thing with all like performance arts, though, right?
I don't disagree, but I've heard that it's more
A little more perishable, they call it.
Well, more visible, I guess, with firearm training.
Really.
So that's why I'm asking. Like,
What are the components of that? Like, why would that be?
That a lot of people just say it's a lot more perishable skill set. So you're just working on a lot of things. You're working on your target, your recoil control. So I would say, yeah,
Is that
it's one of the things you want to stay on.
like that? Like you said, recoil control, because that's what I think of in terms of like somebody who isn't going to respond well to firing a gun, right? Like it's the expectation and like handling. I fired a gun once in my life. So like, why would that be so perishable?
Yeah, I mean that's something you don't want to. I mean, let's say you train for 6 months and you were comfortable with everything you're doing. Yeah, maybe you got to go to the range every month, and then you can actually dry fire at home, which is what they call it. So you're using an unloaded gun. You're either using the snap caps or just the unloaded gun. You're being very, very safe, making sure you don't have any real rounds in there, and you're setting up a couple targets maybe in your house, and you're just doing a couple of trigger pulls, draws, things like that, reloads. You're doing all your actual training at home. So you can get almost everything done there except for the recoil control. So the gun's not actually live.
When did you start getting into wanting to train with like the stabbing knives and stuff? What made you think that was something I wanted to add?
Well,
for
that's
self-defense purposes?
my original academy that I train at in New York is that's probably maybe, I don't know, 7 years ago when I first started training there. Which we trained everything. So we trained Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai, which we train here, and we also train Filipino martial arts, which includes stakes, blades, a whole bunch of other things as well. So
What was the lineage of your JKD gym?
so we go back to Guru Dan. So Guru Dan, you guys
Oh, really?
probably all heard of him. Yeah, so Guru Dan in Santo. And then through him, we were basically an affiliate of Warriors Way out of Texas, North Texas.
Okay.
So Harley Elmore's there. And then my instructor back up in New York is Chuck and Kara. And then pretty much we're all part of that lineage there. So it all goes back to Guru Dan. There's a lot of other systems in there. A lot of
Oh, you look so uncomfortable. Just relax, man.
Guru Dan himself
Sit
has
comfortable.
a lot of martial
forget
arts
your beer.
instructors over his life. But
What was the curriculum like at that JKD gym? Like, what was the sort of like foundation of it?
so we ran pretty much 2 days a week was mixed.
Mixed meaning like MMA, basically.
Well, I'll tell you in a second. So 2 days a week was mixed. 2 days a week was jiu-jitsu. And then on Saturday you had one mixed and one jiu-jitsu class. So what we were doing most recently before I headed out was quarterly systems. So for example, you do Filipino martial arts for 3 months, let's say.
Okay.
Then we might switch over to JKD for 3 months. And then we might actually switch over
And
to
when you say
Silat for-
JKD, you mean philosophically or like?
we probably
original
went, we
JKD.
probably went a little more over to original JKD.
Okay, so like with the sort of like Wing Chun base.
Maybe not the Wing Chun base, but probably more of the left lead hand, left lead foot, trapping.
You mean strong lead?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Strong lead,
alright.
yeah. So
So you would so that's interesting because like philosophically, because I do follow traditional martial arts, right? Like, and there are two
SBG, right? Yeah.
SBG, baby.
Everyone knows, man.
Everybody knows.
I know. Yeah, I see your
yeah.
posts. I read them.
Oh yeah. Which you know what? I'm calling you out right now, Matt Thornton. I'll get you on here, bud. I'm gonna get you on here. So philosophically, how would you feel? The difference between SBG, or excuse me, JKD as a philosophy versus JKD as a practice. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I mean, in terms of the philosophy, accepting what works for you and kind of focusing on that. Maybe kind of learning, but realizing that might not be the best thing for you, and kind of skipping over that's something you're stronger at. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the main philosophies there. But yeah, I mean, there's two different things there. There's the actual art we're training, as well as philosophies too. So
Okay. So as the art you're training, do you feel you said you've been training for 7 years now?
probably roughly about 7. So I mean, again, as I'm here in Florida now, I'm not linked up with my New York crew. So now I'll pretty much, you guys see, whenever I'm heading to Texas, I'm pretty much training, linking up with the crew there.
Okay. Are you okay?
So, yeah.
And that's very purely JKD, or is that also like
no,
tactical?
that'd be Filipino martial arts, JKD, Silat, and Muay Thai.
Okay.
So
Would you say, go ahead?
Just two questions. So, one, when you grapple here, do you grapple with the mindset of, hey, I might also have access to weapons when I'm grappling? Like, do you grapple from like a combat scenario, or you grapple in kind of a sport
little here
jiu-jitsu?
and there, yeah, little here and there. I mean, especially once we get to the higher levels, like purple on purple, it's so much harder. You got to go jiu-jitsu on jiu-jitsu, but sometimes with the white belts or the blue belts, it'll be like, all right, let me frame them here. Let me see what I could do here. Could I get to my belt? Things like that. So
Okay. And
I got to get to my belt. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, is that from a tactical standpoint? I don't know, because, I mean, I just keep everything in my pockets. Is that an access point?
it'd be safer to keep stuff on your belt. Yeah.
Really?
I mean, so if you have something in
Thank
your
you,
pockets,
Karl.
so let's say a blade. So you pull a blade out of your pocket. It's not going to be a fixed blade, probably. It's probably going to be a flipper. Right?
Okay.
So pull it out. Flip it. Now you're going to have to use it.
So that's 3 steps, basically,
3 steps,
instead
yeah.
of one.
So whereas with the blade, we get one master grip on your blade.
Okay.
And now you're good.
Okay.
So it's just it
Jesus
definitely is
Christ,
safer
man.
on
Dude,
your
you don't have to
safer
flash
on your
that
body.
shit. Like, goddamn, man. Like, I mean, am I gonna have to get my fist pack out? Like, Jesus Christ.
So
There you go.
Yeah.
And then the second question is, what motivated you to get into all this in
Yeah,
the first
because
place?
it's a
Like
very-
7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, no, I mean that's our original curriculum out there. So when I was originally looking, I wanted something that was, like usable, real world, and this is
What made
probably
you- what
Yeah,
made
like
you
had
seeking
you
that?
been
What-
into martial arts or
like, what
had
made you
done
seek that in
combat
the
sports
first place?
before you got into JKD?
No, I really hadn't. No. I mean, over the years we just, different places I worked in some of the rougher
Karl,
areas.
can you
and-
do me a quick thing?
was that
How do you pronounce your last name?
Peniagua?
Paniagua.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah, so just different jobs I've had over the years. Like we were all, me and my teams were sometimes working in rougher retail areas.
So
and
is
things like
that-
so that was one of the things where I was like, man, we got some crazy shoplifters here. One of these days something's gonna go wrong, and we're gonna have to
So were
hit
you
somebody in the head with something.
So you sought out, like, I mean, I assume because you and I are probably similar in age. We are similar in age, right? Like, you grew up on like a diet of like fucking American Ninja and like Bloodsport and all that shit,
Kickboxer,
right? Like,
Bloodsport, all that,
and then
yeah.
like we all discover Bruce Lee, right? Like
Yep.
because we're like, yeah, Dragon Bruce Lee story, that's fucking awesome. And was that your, like, you knew ahead of time, like you wanted to do something a little bit more progressive, or like versus something a little bit more traditional, like that most of us get in the trap of like our parents are sticking us into fucking taekwondo or something.
Yeah, no. So when I looked around, I kind of looked at what was more, usable real world. And
Okay.
then as I kind of did my research and I kind of, scouted out.
So you
scouted
saw
out
it
a
as
couple
an
of gyms.
adult.
Yeah, so it as an
Okay.
adult. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a big difference.
Exactly.
And how just out of curiosity, how big was your academy there?
Not too big. I mean, we were a smaller spot. I mean, we're probably from here to the front of the desk, maybe.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Smaller place, smaller mat. I mean, they did an expansion after I headed out down here. With COVID, there's not many visits to New York lately, so I haven't been up there in a bit. But smaller academy. Definitely. I mean, our training crew is probably maybe 20 people at the most.
Okay.
So rotating in, you might have a class of 10. Whereas we're probably a class of 30 some days now here.
Right.
But my instructors ran two academies out of there, so they ran an I Love Kickboxing program, which was 90% women.
Which I think just made it here to Orlando.
Yep, there's one down by Winter Park.
Yeah, like that's an interesting franchise.
So they ran that mainly, and that had the majority of the customer base.
So that like pays the bills.
Yep,
basically.
exactly.
Yeah,
and then
that
the martial
keeps the
arts
lights on.
program was what they had been doing their whole life.
Okay.
And since they were probably like 18, 19 years old. And
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh no. Oh yeah. My instructor's been doing this.
Okay.
Just like Coach Paul.
Yeah.
Since they were like 19 years old, doing this their whole life. So that was what they kind of really they really loved, and we were kind of the night guys. So
Okay.
the ladies would come in. They'd do kickboxing from like
Typical training for
4
you. then.
o'clock till 8 o'clock, and then we'd come in at like 8:30 or something, and we'd have our class later at night. They ran a kids program too, so they had a kids program during the day.
Yeah, you gotta
things
keep the
like
lights
that.
on, man.
Yeah.
Like that's
Shout out, they actually just rebranded. They're focusing more on martial arts, fitness, kettlebells, things like that. So
Nice.
integrated martial arts in integrated martial. I'll pull it up.
integrated martial something
Athletics.
else. Athletics. Okay.
Integrated
Fair
martial
enough.
athletics out of Eastchester, New York. So yeah.
So when
my
you
crew
said
up there.
you were doing work in kind of the rougher neighborhoods and stuff, did you actually witness violence, or were like
We just
involved
had
in it to some degree?
shoplifters all the time.
Okay, so that was just sort of like, hey man, I need to do something to take care of myself and make sure I can handle myself.
So we the latest job I had at that point was I was working for CVS Pharmacy, and I was a retail manager there, and I had gone kind of around. I'd moved upstate a bit. I had worked probably the Yonkers area a bit, and I actually kind of came back to my hometown area. And so I was actually able to recruit a bunch of people that I used to work with at other places to work in my store.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so I had we had a good crew over there. Had a bunch of people I used to work with in the past, and yeah, I mean we were on the border of the rougher side of town, and then the nicer side of town was on the other side. So we always get some shoplifters there trying to steal stuff, whether they were trying to steal the razor packs that cost like $40 each, or all the expensive cosmetics and things. And then we always used to joke around too, because there was a whole bunch of cheap motels down the road. So we used to joke around that there's a whole bunch of hookers around there, and the pimps going around there and stuff like that. And the police would come in there sometimes, and those guys were pretty funny.
was
like,
this CVS 24 hours?
No.
Okay.
We were
That
like,
would've been interesting.
we were like 8 a.m. Oh, no, that would have been even more interesting. No.
Yeah. At that point, you just got to pack all the time.
The
right?
24 hour. Well, that's New York, so New York doesn't have the same laws as here. So But yeah, no, it was just 24-hour stores get even worse.
So what are now that you've been training here and you've been a pro belt for a little bit?
Yeah, man, you're part of the family.
You're on
You've
you're on the cusp too. You got the 4 stripes on the
Oh,
belt.
yeah,
You're on the
let's-
cusp.
let's-
He's like,
let's give him a little time here. Let's give a little time here.
Let's give a
Yeah,
little time.
I'm happy with a stripe a year. You know,
Yeah.
if
What,
takes another year
And you're
to move up or
super
whatever.
consistent. I mean, you're more consistent than I am at this point.
Maybe not lately, but
Oh, really? Do you? Okay, so quick question, just to sorry to cut off Noah. I mean, like training schedule wise, now versus then.
pre-COVID, post-COVID,
Pre-COVID?
or,
Oh no.
or what are we talking?
Like how many? I mean, you're always good for like 2 classes, right? Like you come in and you knock out both.
Yeah, so whenever I come in, I try to knock out Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu whenever I can. If there's something where like I'm caught late at work, but then I finally get done and I'm like I can just make one, I'll make one. But most of the time I'm trying to Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, and maybe if it's a really rough day at work, I'm like, all right, let me just wrap up whatever I got here, get some extra work done, and tomorrow I'll just knock both out.
When are you able to get in your like FMA stuff?
That's the tricky part, yeah.
Right,
I-
because
I
like
really,
you want to
yeah.
hone your skills here, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're probably guilty of the same thing that I am, is like being like a serial hobbyist, right? Like you're just into a lot of things.
Yeah.
How do you, just motivation wise, stay motivated for all of it? How do you really set your goals for maybe the year, maybe the 6 months of like what I really want to focus on and hone in and like develop my skills in? Like, how do you decide on that?
Yeah, so that's probably the trickiest part I've got down here. I really don't get as many reps on that as I like.
Okay.
Meaning
FMA?
Yeah, meaning
Okay.
FMA. Yeah. So there's a couple of
FMA
drills.
means Filipino martial arts, just
Yep.
so everyone knows.
So there's a couple of drills you can do on your own. There's a couple of things you can do on the heavy bag and things like that, and I'll do those every now and then. But
You have a heavy bag at home?
no, I don't know. So
Okay. You set up like you attach a tire to like a tree or some shit?
That's another thing you can do.
There we
actually,
go.
Too.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's
I
another
thought
thing
you
gotta
I
set
thought you
up.
acquired a fair amount of fitness equipment over the pandemic.
I do. Oh, I do. I definitely do. Yeah.
Rogue equipment,
Yeah.
supporting America,
yeah.
baby.
Supporting American made. Yeah. So I got some nice Rogue kettlebells. I got a nice Rogue jump box.
How long did it take you to acquire that? Because that was hard. That
He
stuff
got
was-
it early.
So here's the thing. When things first hit, I was very, very fortunate. So when things first hit, I was like, let me go get some groceries, whatever. So I did that. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should go get some extra ammo or something like that. And as you know, right now with the ammo crisis, that was a good move. So I went
Are you making your own?
no, I'm not making
Come on,
my
man,
own.
that's a
I could
side
probably
business.
learn,
You
but
could probably-
that's probably something I should learn is how to
Yeah,
reload.
hell yeah, man.
You can't really make your own. What you're basically doing is you're taking the spent casings and you're reloading them. So,
Okay.
so yeah, but yeah, that is a skill I should probably learn. But no, I kind of went to the store and I was kind of like, maybe I should just pick up like an extra 1,000 rounds of pistol. And
1,000 rounds?
1,000 rounds is nothing. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. 1,000 rounds is like nothing.
1,000 rounds?
1,000 rounds, yeah.
That's
So,
nothing?
That's really not much. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I probably gotta-
mind you, I have a BB gun, and that's about as... And I have like...
You got the
One,
red
two
rocket
of them.
from A Christmas Story, or what?
it's actually a... it's Red Rider, right?
oh, Red Rider. My
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, yeah.
Wait, Red Rocket, something else.
Jesus.
Hello.
My goodness. So you loaded up?
Yeah, so I was able to find. I think I found about 1,000 rounds of pistol.
About 1,000.
About 1,000 of pistol there.
Did you pay out the ass for it, or?
No, the prices were the same then.
Okay.
This was like March.
Okay.
So I was kind of like, I got groceries. And again, I'm glad I did it because I was like, let me just go pick up a little bit of extra pistol ammo just in case. So
Can
I
you
went
flip
there.
it?
Was that?
You should flip it.
No, you don't know. You never do that. You never. do
Why?
that. No, it's ammo.
You can make so much bank, dude.
What? But what if? How much is your life worth?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what happens if next week Noah goes and Noah gets a pistol and he goes, you know what, I'm doing this whole dry fire at home thing, I'm learning how to hold the pistol properly and all that, but somebody walks in my door, I don't have any ammo, so now I got to give Noah a little bit of ammo so that he doesn't die.
My man.
You have to
Looking
think of
out
these
for the
things,
tribe.
yeah.
I like it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So you
all
have to
right.
think of these things.
So you flip it
So-
to Noah instead then.
Yeah. Well, no, you don't even flip it. I just
Whoa,
Noah, here's a
all
present.
right.
Here's
Altruistic ammo hoarder.
Load up all your mags. You're a friend of the family here. So
we go.
Okay. All right. All right.
But yeah, so
I just bought the
I picked up
Carabiner,
about
by
1,000
the way.
rounds of pistol, but they didn't really have enough rifles. I was like, oh man. So I went on my phone and I'm playing around. I'm like, all right, so let me go to the ammo website I normally use, and I was like, oh, they still have rifle ammo. So I was like, all right, let me just buy a case of 1,000. So I got 1,000 of that too, and it was one of like the last 20 cases.
So you have 2,000 rounds at this point.
Yeah, at that point, yeah, I got about
God
2,000.
damn.
Plus
man.
whatever he had initially.
Plus, yeah, like
Yeah.
your
But
original sack.
How did you? What about the rogue equipment? Like, how the fuck did you get that? Stuff
All right,
then?
so, well-
that stuff was like
You had
hard.
an in, didn't you?
So no, I actually didn't. So basically, what happened was I got the ammo, I got the rifle ammo,
Name
and luckily
brand.
that came
Jesus
in.
Christ.
So, and I checked like a day later on the rifle ammo, and it was sold out. And after that, things just got worse. Even after, and that was before COVID. Like that wasn't even before like civil unrest and riots and fires and all that kind of stuff. So that was even before all that, but had that there. And then with the rogue equipment, I just got lucky. Like when that happened, I kind of went home and I was like, the gyms are probably going to be closed. I should probably order a kettlebell. So I ordered a kettlebell online right there.
What weight did you get?
I got like a little, I think it was like a 20 pounder, and I got a 100 pounder. I think.
You had a fucking 100-pound kettlebell?
Well, I was
What
like,
the hell
I'm
are
not
you gonna do with that?
Man,
Well, I was like, I'm not able to deadlift,
Wow.
so I'm like, let me just do
Okay, all right,
one-handed
that's-
deadlifts,
all right, that's
one-handed
awesome.
deadlifts
All
with a
right, fair
100-pound kettlebell, because I was expecting the gyms to be closed for like 3 weeks, and
You fucked up.
yeah, I fucked up. So I thought it was gonna be closed about 3 weeks, and I already had I got like a 35 pounder at home. I've had forever
Okay,
for
yeah.
years.
I mean, that's a good working weight.
So I was just like, let me get something little for like things that I don't know how to do, so I don't pull nothing, and let me get a big one to kind of like deadlift or squat with. So I did that, and the little one came in about a week. The 100-pound one took about another week after that. But at that point, we knew that things were closed down for like, I don't know, whatever, things 3
Yeah,
months
You lucked
maybe.
out. You placed those orders.
I mean,
ahead
yeah,
of the,
your
ahead of
timing
the
was
wave.
excellent, right?
Ahead of the
So
wave.
I placed those orders, on time. And then the other thing I did was after that, I kind of went on their website and kind of subscribed on the let me know when this is in stock. And I think I got like another 35 pounder or something at that point, so I could double rack and do
There you
squats or
go.
something. So
Who you following on kettlebells?
no one really, actually. I follow
Really?
the Rogue, and that's really about it. I mean, I only
I
did
might
them
have
for a
some
little
stuff
bit.
for you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, the gyms are back open now, so now I can actually go do
Fuck the
barbell
gyms.
work.
Just work at
but-
home, man. Come on.
Yeah, but barbells I like barbells better than kettlebells, it seems.
Do you?
Yeah, I mean they were fine for those 2 months, but now that the actual gyms are open,
Do we have a tree growing out of the mat there?
No, it's a grape thing.
Oh, okay.
That would be pretty funny.
Yeah, that would be funny.
So, like, just out of curiosity, so obviously your original motivation is self-preservation.
yeah, I mean it was self-preservation. It was something to get more active, stay in shape, things like that, and not be bored at the gym.
did you
too.
play any sort of sports growing up?
Not really. No,
Okay.
I mean I play a little bit of neighborhood basketball and stuff like that, but nothing crazy.
And do you have any hobbies growing up?
Not too much. Comic books.
There we go.
you go.
Yeah.
Yep. Comic books. Used to always read those. Yeah.
Okay.
I just got
Marvel, all that. Yeah. Marvel, X-Men, stuff like that. Yep.
What did you just say?
I don't know.
Did you just say I just got a boner?
I'm done.
Well,
man.
at least he doesn't have whiskey dick if he just got a boner. I mean, he didn't drink too much.
But the
So now, for you then, Karl, what do you have any goals when it comes to your jiu-jitsu? Like,
Yeah. No. I mean, obviously, I think my main goal is just to keep on training. I mean,
Okay.
I think that's when you look at everything. I mean, it's better for me to just be training consistently than to say, oh, hey, look, I took 2 months off and now I'm going to come back and now I'm going to train 6 days a week. It's just stay consistent. I mean,
that's cool, man. So
Stay
you
in
have a real
shape.
lifestyle with it. It's like, this is
Yeah.
my lifestyle,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
this is what I'm going to do.
yeah, if it's a rough week, maybe I'm only here twice a week. If it's a better week, maybe I'm here 3 or 4. But just keep on training, really.
Okay.
Yep.
Dude, I think that's fucking awesome. That's so cool.
do you have any? Have you? I gather that your philosophy of martial arts is very much similar to mine, where we're sort of more. It's like you said, it's a lifestyle, right? Like, do you have any plans to compete or anything?
Not really. I mean, I did way back, but it was more of like one of my buddies was going. I'm like, all right, I'll go around along for the ride and I'll compete too. But yeah, nothing. Not really. I mean, when we're in Texas, we do. I mean, I don't want to call it competition, but we'll do a little more work there. So I mean, we'll run like carjacking scenarios. We'll run like I'm in 7-Eleven and I got to fight 2 guys or something. So like we'll run our own little. It's not a competition, but that's already enough extra work to do. So it's better for me to just kind of train and get ready for that kind of stuff than to actually be like, oh, I'm gonna, work on my guillotine or whatever. I think that's gonna kind of help me out a little more. In the
So,
long
what
run right
rules
now.
are you using when you're sparring over there?
where you're normally going to have like a moderator. So
Okay.
one of our head instructors or one of our full instructors will be watching, and then you're basically setting things up like what's going on here. Am I in the car and then two guys are going to attack me, or am I doing Muay Thai here and I've got to kind of stay out of the middle. So for example, two attackers, you want to stay out of the middle.
Yeah. So what
strike
are
somebody,
what
get out.
skill sets have you found to be the most useful in pure tactical self-preservation?
I mean, that's a little bit of a tough question, but I would say some of the wall drills Coach Paul does with us.
Really?
Yeah, actually really come in handy with that. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we train, out there in Texas and, wherever I link up with everybody.
Right?
Was that?
That's trade
Yeah,
secrets,
I mean,
right?
there's probably a couple trade secrets there that I want to go two into, but yeah, but I would say in terms of over here, like what we're doing every day, I'd say some of those wall drills Coach Paul does with us, where you're in, you hit your punches, you get back out of the way, work out great. Because think about it, you're fighting two guys, like get in there, hit them, get out, circle around them. Staying in the middle, you're just gonna get killed. I mean, when we run these drills, normally anybody who stays in the middle is just at some point you're just gonna get hit by both guys, by one guy on the side, the other guy's gonna hit you, and you're kind of done at that point. So.
Are you, when you guys are running these scenarios, are you strapped? Like you got everything on you that you would normally walk with?
It really depends on the situation. So some of them you're really just you really got your boxing gloves on, your Muay Thai gloves.
Oh, okay.
And you're really just looking to see what you do empty-handed. And then there's other ones where you'll actually have blue guns, they call them. So I don't know if you've ever seen them, but the plastic blue guns where
Yeah.
not a real gun. Same thing with blades. You could use a blue knife. There's also some much safer things to work with. I think it's called Knock makes them. I think Knock trainers, but it's basically it's a fake blade, but it's just really soft. It's got some give to it, but it's actually like you're not going to hurt each other with that. So you use a lot of things like that. So
Have you found, like, now that you're a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, I don't know anything about your gym at home, or not home, but like your
back
original
in New
gym,
York,
right?
Yep.
But like now that you're a purple belt, you've got your skill set is obviously a lot better. Have you found that you've been able to lend that? Like, I don't know what the skill level is of pure grappling at your home gyms, right? Has that given you a little bit of an advantage when it comes to things like wrist control, body control?
Yeah. So I mean, there's when you do a lot of this work, there's a lot of wrist control. Arm drags are big. Okay. Kind of control in the back, but I mean everything's a little different. So I mean, like let's say I do an arm drag, I spin to the back. Might not just be going right for the choke. I actually got to make sure I control the hands while I'm doing the choke because what's in their hands. So, but yeah, there's a lot of jiu-jitsu things that kind of transfer over, and just general your general balance, your general flexibility, things like that. I mean, there's just a lot of things that kind of play.
Have you
in
found that? So, like, what sort of common denominators do you see across all the different? Because I mean, like, I can say I've done 3 martial arts, right? Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, and kickboxing. And Taekwondo, excuse me. What, across all the multitude that you've done, what are the common denominators that you see? Like, are a lot of the principles that you use in one, do they carry over to the other? Do you get a little bit of advantage because you recognize that now, but maybe they don't practice that in the others?
So, I mean, again, if you're looking at your grappling, your arm drags are big. 2-on-1 arm control are big too. So let's say if I got Noah over here, I might have one arm under here. I might have one arm control his wrist.
Yeah.
But I got to stay here because if I'm on that side, he can punch me.
Right.
So I got to kind of stay on this side tucked, but I might have his arm control here, his wrist control here, so he can't hurt me. But there's a lot of grappling things translated into there, and then Muay Thai. There's a lot. When you go to Filipino martial arts, I'm not sure how much you've looked into it before, but you have Panatukan, which is basically like their boxing structure there. Okay. And that pretty much revolves around just about everything in Muay Thai. They don't really do kicks in that, but I mean your elbows, your strikes. There's a lot of bicep destructions in there. Like actually hitting the hands and hitting the arms and things like that.
Defanging the snake.
Yeah, some of that. Yep. And then
I just made that up.
No,
I actually don't know much about it.
That's part. Yep, that's in there. And then your knees, elbows, things like that. So.
All right. So Karl. Last important question here. John Wick 1, 2, and 3. how realistic were each of those movies?
Actually, not even that. Let's take that one step further. John Wick,
Where my grandpa's at?
Jason Bourne,
Where my grandpa's at?
Rambo, and let's throw in Daniel Craig, James Bond.
And James
Whoa,
Bond.
James Bond. What? That's a
Daniel Craig, James Bond, dude.
Oh, Daniel Craig, James
Which
Bond.
is so Jason Bourne ripping off, right? So what do we got here? Rating.
What's the question? Who are we picking?
So okay, let's rate
on
them.
a realism.
Let's
in
rate
your
them
opinion,
first.
realism 1 to 10. 10 being most realistic, 1 being absolutely not realistic.
Rate them first, and then we'll rate. Then we'll go 1 to 10 realistic.
So
I mean-
the Bourne series.
Each movie's. I'm sure there's going to be some variations in each movie there, but I would say the Bourne series probably did things better. I mean, again, there's
1 to
always
10, 1 to
there's
10.
always going to be 1 to. I
you
can't
gotta do a
I can't
number,
even do 1 to 10.
10 being
All right,
very
so-
realistic, 1 being absolutely ludicrously unrealistic.
We're just talking the martial arts, or are we talking the?
Well, from a tactical, like what you see in terms of their combat and
Well, all right. So we're just gonna go off the martial arts.
Yeah, just purely martial arts.
Yeah, because if we go into the other stuff, some of that, like I said, would be above my pay grade here. But here's another shout out. So if you go on SOB Tactical on Facebook or Instagram, my shooting coach actually does movie breakdowns.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So if you go on that, like he just broke down a movie a
owes
few
us
weeks ago. Yeah,
$5.
about every 2
Go
weeks
on.
he'll actually break down some stuff and he'll say like, "Oh, look here, this guy's not aiming at anything. Yeah, he's aiming at anything." So that's one thing. But no, I would say some of the James Bonds had some nice. I mean, Jason Bourne's had some nice stuff in them from what I could see. There was a lot of Filipino martial arts in that.
yes.
After that, the John Wick stuff had some nice stuff in it too. I mean, I don't know if
So
I don't know if
John
any,
Wick 1, 2, and 3 were they all equally realistic, or did
part
they?
3 was horrible.
Okay, so
Was it really? I haven't seen
Yeah.
it, so no spoilers. But
Yeah, part 3 I thought was horrible.
why would it be horrible as compared to 1 and 2?
It looked nice. Like I mean, like I'm originally from New York, so it looked like he was hanging out in New York and going to his little criminal network and all, and the safe houses, and they were doing the sambo in one of them.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
They had a bunch.
That was,
of,
I thought, the coolest
yeah,
part.
They had a bunch of nice Russian girls like over there too, but that was nice. But just the movie itself just seemed horrible.
And the combat was not as realistic as the first 2 movies.
I think I saw one good move. I mean, in the whole thing.
Really? I haven't seen it, so I mean, like,
Yeah, but I mean,
could say the jiu-jitsu and stuff in 1 and 2 is pretty good.
Yeah, it's always beautiful to watch, but I don't know if there's anything there that you'd really want to do. But John Wick 1 and 2 were great. I mean, there's a lot of nice stuff in there. Like you see, he'll pull a triangle and he can go to stab somebody or shoot somebody. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. I mean,
He does some pretty good gun-jitsu.
yeah.
1 and 2, I would say.
I don't know if you'd really want to do that in real life, but
Okay,
but
fair
it's
enough,
it's
fair
nice.
enough.
It's nice to watch.
All right, so
again, like I said, whether that'll work or not is a little above my pay grade, but.
So good FMA in Jason Bourne.
Yeah, no, there was definitely some good FMA in Jason Bourne, and again, going back to some of the people that we're affiliated with.
I mean, like,
there's probably some people in there
from
that
the
did some of that
standpoint
training
like,
too.
I was super impressed. See you, Victor. So from the standpoint of gun handling, mind you, I'm below a white belt in gun handling. I feel as though he's very precise. I felt as though watching him handle a gun in John Wick 1 and 2 was very similar to watching Orlando Bloom handle a bow in the Two Towers, where it just seemed like precise and clean, and like he had repped it like 1,000 times, right? So I felt as though like it looked good. Was it actually good, or did it just look good?
I'm not too sure. I'd really have to go
Is that
back
above
and
your pay
watch.
grade?
Yeah, I'd
Okay.
probably say it's a little above my pay grade. I've seen
You
him.
know what?
I've seen him
I
do
give
some really
Karl
weird
props for
stuff.
saying that, because
Yeah.
a lot of people would
A
be
lot of
like,
people-
yeah,
exactly, like-
just
Yeah, no. The one thing I'll say is there was some weird stuff he's done in there because we've talked about because just kind of like we hang out here, like we'll hang out, we'll talk after classes in the other groups too, and we talked about John Wick a little bit. There's this weird thing he does with some kind of I think they call it like a center axis lock or something, and somebody told us like who knows, obviously.
Is that like the
really-
barimbolo of a gun handling?
It's like the barimbolo. Yeah, it probably is. It's
Oh,
probably
okay,
the
there we go.
Yeah, because I was told by obviously one of our coaches that don't do that.
Have you ever thought about doing like the tactical competitions where it's like moving targets and this and that? Like, I know a guy who's like, I guess is a sponsored athlete in that.
Yeah,
Like,
I've thought of doing them at one point. What we've kind of been told in our little groups is that might be something good to do, but if you're looking too much at the time and things like that, maybe you're just doing it wrong. It has to be done right. So some guy lines up 10 targets for me. That's great. I don't have to go line up those 10 targets.
The ones
I can
that
go
I've
through and
seen
shoot
are
them.
like, you go through a thing and it's got moving targets and like they're fucking crazy. I'll have to show you. And you
Interesting.
tell me your opinion about it. But like from what I've seen, they're like, I'm like, goddamn, like this guy is Call of Dutying live, right? Like this is
Yeah,
amazing.
I mean,
like
that-
this guy looks like a black belt in like tactical shooting. I mean, is there anything that's not tactical? I guess shooting, right?
Yeah, I mean that might be good, but then again, I mean that
Is that
might,
not realistic?
That might
Like,
not,
do you have to have like fire back for it
that
to be
might
like
not
real?
necessarily be the best thing to do. I mean,
Really?
it might just be a nice way to go and have fun and target shoot. I don't know if that's really realistic though. The nicest thing that we do normally is we get to do the shoot house. So when we go to North Carolina in November, we usually get to go train in the shoot house, which is nice. So
Okay.
you basically have just a big cement building. It's probably about 4 or 5 rooms, and then you just get the simunitions. So. Noah goes in there. Noah pretends that this is Noah's house, and I pretend I'm a robber and I'm coming in and trying to get Noah. And then, we're both using some munitions on each other and see who gets each other first.
That sounds super fun.
Sounds like I'm gonna get fight or flight. It's like I gotta resist the temptation.
yeah.
to go
What do
fight
you
or
do? So
flight.
do you like zen yourself?
What I'm saying is like if you enter fight or flight, now suddenly adrenaline's pumping and
Yeah, of course.
you don't think straight. So so much. So that's wild, man.
That sounds like a good outing for the gym.
Well, Eric brought a play knife and just was forcing people to grapple with the knife, and he's like, "Oh, look, you're dead, which is interesting because it made you realize like I can't even just play normal guard.
How
I need to like
important
isolate the
controlling the
arm.
hands and shit is.
Yeah.
Like,
Whoa, Brian McKenzie is limping.
oh boy.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was like, did someone get heel hooked pretty hard or something?
Those are some sweet
okay.
shorts, man.
These are 93 brand.
Are they really?
Yeah.
How did I miss these?
93. Is that something goofy?
Don't
like,
shout them out, dude. Jesus Christ.
It's 39.
They haven't sponsored us yet.
Oh, okay. And Chris would lose his mind if we got sponsored by 93 brand because he
Oh
loves.
my God,
he
I
loves
would-
93 brand.
they're-
Everyone else is going for
I
Origin.
love stuff made in
and he's like,
Pakistan.
no, I want 93 brand.
They're out of New York, first off. I think that's
American owned.
American.
Perhaps Middle Eastern produced.
Oh my.
But
products. I will say their products are good because I wear nothing but these shorts.
exactly.
I have other shorts. I just only wear
Probably 90% of my stuff is perhaps 93% of mine. Gear is 93%.
God.
Oh, you like that?
They have really good sales.
They do.
Phenomenal sales. Get a key for $60. The key lasts you like 4 years.
All right.
Was that a 30-minute round? Sorry, I don't mean to.
No, you're fine, man.
How long was I gone?
I think we started.
I think I would say.
I would say it was
if
pretty-
it's 2:15, then you went 45 minutes. Yeah,
Just to clarify,
that was like an
did they
iron.
mop? Because I don't really fucking feel
Nah,
like
it was-
mopping
we're
right
good.
now.
We're good. We're
Oh,
good,
after?
Yeah,
All
yeah
right, I don't
they
know if they
mop.
mopped
Wink, wink.
We were mopped
Okay.
before. I don't know if we
Yeah.
mopped after.
Good.
After their round.
You're good. They were wearing dry clothes.
Yeah, you know, they were wearing. Yeah. So Karl,
Definitely seemed like he was on top. He was like,
you do
I was looking at
a lot of grappling, a lot of Muay Thai.
You were in dominant.
What are your goals in training? Is just to maintain shape at this point?
Yeah, really just
because like your job at this point isn't super dangerous.
Yeah, no, not super dangerous. Yeah, so really just maintain shape, maintain skill sets and things like that, and just keep on training. Like we were talking about before, like I don't train as much of the FMA stuff as I'd like to, but I mean that's why I'm always out of town whenever I can get out of town. Like I mean, I'll hit Guru Dan does a seminar with us in Texas every February, so I hit that. One of our affiliates in Tulsa, Oklahoma, does a training session every June around. So I jumped onto that the last 2 years, which has
Nice.
been great. Yeah. So
Is that like a seminar basically? Or
yeah.
Like a,
So
like a camp?
Guru Brandon over there, he'll pick a topic and he'll basically set up a whole curriculum for us for 3 days.
nice.
So last year we actually did Southeast Asian kickboxing. So I really got to go up there for just 3 days of that. So you've got your Muay Thai, but then you've also got like your Cambodian kickboxing,
The fucking,
Burmese, and
fucking Lathway.
yeah, and left way. Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
So
headbutting each other
You've
and
got a
shit.
little more of how are you training the headbutts? What's the proper way to headbutt? And
Nice.
what are the differences between the three, I should say?
Sure.
And that was a great seminar. And this year we did personal protection. And again, great 3-4 days of training out there with those guys. And then every September we've pretty much got a we've got a seminar, and then about every May or June we've got a seminar too.
Okay.
So I'm pretty much on the road with those guys about 4 times a year. So
Are you training when you travel, or do you travel to train?
we pretty much travel to train. Yeah,
Okay,
so
cool. That's
Travel to
awesome,
train,
man.
link up with everybody. We're all great people there, so I get to hang out with some of those guys. And
Do you have any other skills that you're interested in developing or thinking about developing?
in terms of
Well, in terms of this realm of like self-defense, combat sports, tactical, that sort of thing. Not like, I'm interested in learning cryptocurrency trading. I'm talking like
Like survivalism?
Yeah, like
or
I want to get good at nunchucks, or I want to.
like all those kind of things. I mean, there's some.
I mean,
Well, I'm asking
why wouldn't
him.
you?
I mean, there's a couple of like off-topic skills we have there that I haven't dived into. Like lock picking is one of them. Lock picking is something I want to actually get into. A lot of our guys really know how to do lock picking very well, and
That's
they've been training
awesome.
at that. So that's probably one of those things that I haven't jumped into that has been on my list to actually jump in on.
So, quick question: are you familiar with the brand Southern or Southford or something like that?
Again, this is one of those things that I want to jump into. Haven't had the time yet. But
I studied
you've
lockpicking
done
for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Years ago.
Okay, so what's it like to lock pick? Like,
Ooh, man.
so
Are we just like incriminating ourselves here?
No.
What's
No,
illegal
because
about?
Oh, no, there's tons of
lockpicking is
legal
not
reasons
illegal as long as
to-
you're picking
Yeah.
locks that you own. That is the law.
You get locked out
can
of
look that
somewhere.
one up. Man, it's and I don't know how to say this because I don't know what this podcast is rated, but it's all.
Oh, it's explicit. It's
Okay,
you can
it's
let the
all
F-bomb.
field.
Oh yeah, we already.
There
bad
is
stuff.
no right or wrong. Technically, there's only wrong if you don't get it right. But the close thing I could compare it to is just like that. I don't know if you get the motion.
Well, he's
But no,
we haven't talked about that kind of stuff, but yeah.
But no,
he's
and that's why I didn't say
he's
that.
using a come here gesture with his fingers. Let's just.
but it's because it is. All right, so essentially what you're doing, you understand the inside mechanism of what a lock actually is?
yeah,
All right, so there are pins and there's a tumbler.
correct.
What you're essentially trying to do is you're trying to put light tension on the tumbler so that when you lift the pins up, they sit on the ledge.
And they don't come back down.
Correct.
So how does the key do that?
Well, what the key does is the key is the perfectly sized for all of the pins.
So you don't have to worry about the.
Correct.
Okay.
When
I
you're-
was wondering if there's another mechanism at play.
When you're attempting to pick a lock, there's two.
You have a non-ideal ledge for the pins.
Correct.
So you need to make sure the tumbler. It was the tumbler you said.
Yes.
It
So
has
you-
some tension on it, so it doesn't. drop. Okay.
So you have two tools, generally speaking. You have a rake and a pick.
Yeah.
Your pick, or I take that back, not a rake and a pick. You have a tension wrench and then a rake or a pick. Your tension wrench is what puts light tension on the tumbler so it turns just a little bit so that when you lift the pins up, they sit above the actual tumbler so that when all, generally speaking, 4 to 5 pins are above, it can open. Mm-hmm. And then there are different variations of locks from like this wafer style, which is like a file cabinet or something like that, to like deadbolt to like the standard. I don't know what they're called, like the whatever you like lock up something with, and like for like houses and stuff like that. So there's different degrees of difficulty and stuff like that. I didn't want to go.
What about the keys that have like half circle, like half spheres carved into them?
Oh, you mean like,
Like a
like for a toolbox?
Yeah. What are those even pickable? Because that looks like some new age.
Something like this.
No. I'm talking about. Let me grab a key. So it's actually a normal key, but instead of having teeth here, it has like bubble, like.
Ooh, I've actually not seen that.
You haven't seen that?
I haven't done this in years. But
I've
this
seen
was-
some of those. Those are probably harder, I would guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I tried to pick all these standard stuff. Started with file cabinets and then working my way up. It's such a feeling of success.
So how long would it take to pick an? I don't know. I don't even know the degrees of difficulty. But for you, when you pick a lock, on average, how long does it take?
Depends on the style of lock. The wafer style, and I'm pretty sure they're still called that, which is what were used in file cabinets, are by far the easiest. An amateur, which is what I consider myself to be then and now, would probably take anywhere from 45 seconds to about a minute and a half.
Okay, that's not that long. Actually.
No, that's not that long at all. Now, keep in mind, that is literally the bottom of the barrel.
No,
That
I
is the
understand. I
easiest
understand.
it
I
gets.
understand. I
It
understand.
only gets more difficult from there. Reddit has a very good.
Oh, here we go.
I was gonna say Reddit has a very good forum on
Yep.
it where there's a lot of actual technical discussion on the different styles of picking. That's all I can say. I haven't been on that subreddit in a long time.
Well, there you go, dude. Just get on Reddit, Carl. You don't even need to take some formal class. Just get on Reddit.
Go on Reddit and take
They'll
and read
tell
it all
you,
the
man.
info. Yep. Yeah, no, there's a ton of stuff these days you can learn on YouTube. I mean, there's infos all the way out there.
So anything besides lockpicking? I think that's a cool one. What about like hot wiring a car? Would you be interested in learning how to hot wire a car?
But that's interesting too. Yeah, I mean,
I've always
yeah.
wondered if it's as easy as they make it in the movies, where they just reach under, they find
And they
wires
know
magically,
Wires.
exactly where it
they
is.
Yep.
yank them down, and then they get the two that magically just make a little spark and
Yeah,
boom, boom, boom.
I think back in the '80s it might have been like that,
Might
but
have
but probably not nowadays with all
I'll
the
let you
cars
know.
we have.
No, it doesn't work like that.
So you've been on the car Reddit as well? The
No,
cars Reddit.
actually, I work on cars a lot. And the main reason that doesn't work, unlike the movies would have you believe, is when you put your key in and you rotate it, it goes into a position before you crank it called key on ignition on. Key on ignition on gives power to your ECU, which is your computer, and your fuel pump. So when you just pull random wires and try to put them together, your fuel pump isn't primed and your ECU doesn't have power. That's why this stuff doesn't quite work like that. So you'd have to actually pull the actual cylinder off of the steering column and rotate it still to get to that position.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna get into it. There's
Well,
a lot of moving
yeah,
parts.
because I always the one little factoid I learned, and I think I might have even learned it listening to car talk when I was a kid, is like when you turn a car on, part of that process is it cuts power to everything except the starter, because its job is to start the motor. Like you will lose, like if your radio's on, the radio will go off.
Yeah.
If your AC's on, it'll go off while you're actually turning it. And
the ignition portion.
correct.
Yeah.
Once if you're in the ignition on prime on.
See y'all Monday.
Wait, you're out of here, Chris?
Already?
I gotta go, man.
Dude, you said you could leave
I
at
thought you said 4 o'clock,
It's 3.
man. It's 3.
Yeah, I was supposed to be home at 3.
Come on, man.
Am I reading my clock wrong?
McDonald's can wait, man.
Fucking military time.
God dang.
I literally came over here, drank a bunch, and then rolled 30 minutes, and then came back.
But we will shut it down because we've had a good conversation.
It's been a really long time.
It's been a couple hot minutes. It's been a couple hot. But Brian, thanks for
likes.
joining us. Carl, thanks for joining us. Chris, thanks for not passing out.
Yeah.
I don't pass that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you get giggly and stuff.
What's that?
You get giggly and
I don't get
yeah.
giggly.
So are we on for? I'll say it out loud. Are we on for
Monday.
Monday to record?
Monday.
Oh man, we are back.
Pre-class.
We are back. All right. Well, listen.
The true BJJ and Brews.
If you listen to us this far, you already know. On social media, it's BJJ and Brews on Instagram, Facebook, and shoot us an email, bjjandbrews@gmail.com. If you want to sponsor us with beer, we're always welcome to that.
I mean, not just beer, like alcoholic beverages.
alcoholic beverages. We're not
honestly,
picky.
if you got some sort of wonder tonic that's gonna make me feel awesome after a fasted
There we
roll
go.
of jiu-jitsu,
Beer, energy drinks.
We're down.
Yeah.
If there's an acai company that wants to sponsor, we're open to
Oh
that.
yeah, I'll use the fake Brazilian accent. Too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, you guys have a great one.
I'm over the age of 30. I'll be 39 next year, so
You gotta get that testosterone check, man.
Not see my hand just
horse meat first off.
All right. On
Carl,
that
thank
note-
you for finally being on, man.
Oh,
I
no
appreciate
problem, man.
it, dude.
Yeah, Carl's always
You got it.
been.
I've
he's been
literally-
the studio audience the whole time.
I know, right?
Yeah, after class,
And-
I like to sit here, drink my water, sip a beer, whatever,
Yeah,
and,
catch
and
up on
listen to
some
everything
orders.
live. And it's just it's just so much more
I've got
entertaining sometimes when it's
my
live.
carabiners.
Yeah,
Carabiner.
your carabiner. Yeah,
Is it?
Did you actually say carabiner intentionally?
It's
Please tell
no.
me.
It's a CAR.
It's carabiner.
A
It's
B I.
carabiner.
Right? That'd be a long
Dude,
I.
it's English. It's carabiner.
well here,
English, the rules don't make
carabiner
any
and a
sense.
good flashlight too. So get a good flashlight.
You need a good flashlight.
That's-
so you
I've
can,
got
that's-
a big mag light.
That's
you
probably
can-
the first two.
so you can blind someone.
Yeah, you could probably. No, that's
So,
a
like,
that's
I'll
a
have to-
stream light.
multiple
yeah.
LEDs.
I'm gonna have to
right
ask
there.
her idea. Your. I need to give me drills for my carabiner.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we can do some.
Jesus, yeah. You spent the big bucks.
With that, we will catch you
I've been
down the
looking at
road.
The light